And welcome back to the Woodward Sports Network. It is Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. We appreciate you guys all locking in with us. Everyone in the chat right now, make sure you guys share the stream a little bit with some people. Let them know that we're on here right now, 8 to 10 every weekday. And hit the like button too. Where are we at right now? 67? 75 by 9. That's the goal there. Let's get that. Pistons right now, a little update. It's a bad game. 42-29, the Bucks.
42. That's the number show. Woodward Nights show 42 is tonight.
Is it really?
Yeah. Jake Robinson. Yeah.
We're almost 2 months in. How many more until 2 months? 18?
Well, yeah. I mean, we've technically been going for 2 months, but with the weekends, and we have some Mondays off, some Thursdays off because the Lions are on prime time now. You know what I'm saying?
We don't get a show on the big days.
Yeah.
We haven't earned that right yet.
Soon.
No, I'm just kidding. We'll get there. Hey, again, we appreciate you guys. Hit the like button. But we're going to tell you guys here a little bit. Stephen A. Smith on First Take today. Outside of the Michigan stuff that I think both me and Broder disagree with, he did have a very, very good thing to say in regards to the Detroit Lions and Jared Goff. And it seems like Stephen A. Smith's been back and forth. I thought of this. He's flipping back and forth like a McDonald's hamburger on the grill. Is that a good one?
That was pretty good.
Okay, thank you. I thought of that earlier. I wanted to say it. I was like, I don't know how good that is.
Dude, let it fly. Confidence, baby.
Yes.
You delivered that one.
Thank you. One of my goals in life is to do some stand-up comedy. I know I've always thrown out there I wanted to be an actor, and I've had some people actually reach out to me saying like, hey, what kind of acting you're trying to get into. My goal is to be in a Seth Rogen movie. I just want to have a role in a Seth Rogen movie. Either that or just like
to get you on that casting couch, but
okay, come on.
That's where my head went first too.
No, come on, man.
What? Some people reached out.
Yeah, like, hey, do you want to be in a Seth Rogen movie? Man. I was like, yeah, they would love Booner. That's just a fact. But
come in the van.
I would like to do some stand-up too one day. I think I could be good at it. A lot of people say that I remind them of Theo Von a little bit. They call him my older brother. That's just a
little bit.
And then I get Shane Gillis all the time. So if I'm a mix of Shane Gillis and Theo Von,
his voice is what makes him unique.
Yeah. If I'm a little Theo Von Shane Gillis mix, listen up.
I'm a Bert Kreischer fan.
I am too. I like Bert. His movie was great too. If you haven't seen it. All right, Stephen A. Smith though. We got way off track again. ADHD is kicking in, going everywhere. He talked about the Detroit Lions and specifically Jared Goff, and I was surprised to hear what he said because weeks ago we showed him on our show and he put the Detroit Lions as the number one team in the NFL, and then they lost to the Ravens, and then on his podcast he sat there and yelled about how big of frauds the Detroit Lions are. Yeah, so I don't know what to do about Stephen A. Smith right now and what to believe. I think he's just one of those guys, and I'm starting to learn him of being in the industry a little bit, to where he just is a clickbait guy that's gonna throw it. He'll have a different take about the same thing within the days and like today and tomorrow.
No disrespect whatsoever, but I'm sorry to tell everybody the truth.
And he basically was talking about who's the best quarterback in the NFC. And Chris, are you ready here with it? Mm-hmm. This is what he had to say here about Jared Goff possibly being the best quarterback in the NFC.
Looking at Jared Goff, 12 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 2,174 yards passing, which is more than Dak, completing 68% of his passes. They're in first place in the NFC North. They're 6-2. Got the best record in the
now you can hear us.
Record in the NFC. And then we also have to take into account, statistically speaking, every game this season, with the exception of the opener, which he completed nearly about 63% of his passes.
Let us know.
This is Jared Goff. 80%, 66, 67, 71, 68, 62, 70% of his passes. One game where they wet the bed, they got blown out by Baltimore.
Yep.
Every other game, even the game that they lost to Seattle, the second game of the season, they lost in overtime, 37-31.
Yep.
You look at Jared Goff, for the most part, take out the Baltimore game, he's been a model of consistency. They've been winning
Jared
football games. And I don't think that we can ignore that. He's been better than Dak Prescott. As far as I'm concerned, as a quarterback, he's been better than Jalen Hurts. That's not to say he is better, but I'm talking about he's performed better thus far this year. We all believe primarily it's because of the health of Jalen Hurts. He's been compromised. He's been a bit gimpy. He can't scramble the way that he normally could. Can't extend plays the way he normally could. We get it that it's health more so than ability. But in the end, Jared Goff has been the best quarterback in the NFC.
That's right.
Whoa!
Let's go.
Stephen A. Smith from the top rope. He came out on First Take today and came out and said, hey, listen, Jared Goff is the best quarterback in the NFC right now. No ifs, ands, no buts, nothing. Don't care what anyone has to say. Brandon Katz, don't care. I don't know why I said that with the Boston accent, but that's what Stephen A's at. And at the end of the day, Broder, and we're going to dig into this a little bit because Jared Goff is your guy. I don't think Stephen A. Smith is wrong. I have been on that side here to where we talk about the MVP race. I have not thought that anyone stood out to me to be like, that's the clear MVP, including Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
The only player to me that's really stood out, and you could say he's number one, to me has been Patrick Mahomes. And then he's in the him and Lamar Jackson, they're in the AFC.
That's my guy.
Jalen Hurts to me has not been like way out there. He's put some stats up, but Jared Goff sitting at 6-2 outside, just like Stephen A. said, take away that Ravens game. Jared Goff has been great.
Yeah,
and there's nothing anyone could say about that.
Yeah, it was the way he said it. I really liked. It was like no one's arguing Jalen Hurts is a more talented quarterback. I think he used the term, but Jared Goff has performed better this season. Like, and it's true. And I still have Jalen Hurts ranked ahead of Jared Goff in the MVP race, a little midseason awards. But what Stephen A. said was facts. It was facts. Jared Goff throughout the season, despite a couple hiccups there, has been a model of consistency. He's been efficient. He's been accurate. He's been able to get the ball into these receivers' hands. And even Amon-Ra St. Brown, there's been a decent amount of drops this season. Not just Jamison Williams. Sam Laporta had a game or two where he had a couple drops. So it's not like the team has performed perfectly, but Jared Goff has continued to deliver, literally deliver the ball where his receivers need it. And I think he's getting better. Like I talked all offseason about the comfort level having Ben Johnson and Mark Brunell having the same OC and QB coach in back-to-back years. This is the first time in his career he's had that. You can see the comfortability he's getting, the pre-snap reads, his decision-making. Except for that Ravens game, he seems so calm. He seems so in control of the game. Like the game seems slow to him.
This is the thing too with me. I keep going back here with this Lions team. When we talk about Goff, when we talk about anyone on this team, you know what I keep going back to, Broder, is what does this do for this Lions team to contend? What does this do for that? Because if you have a guy like Stephen A. who's coming out saying that's the best quarterback in the NFC, that means other people believe that. That means it's true. Like I don't want to say anything that comes out of his mouth is true, but what I'm saying is Stephen A. is one of the best in the industry. So if he's talking about that, there's a conversation to do with it, whether it's right or wrong. But when you really break it down, Broder, when you're going to contend, what is the number one piece that you need if you're going to look to go for a Super Bowl or an NFC championship? The biggest piece is always the quarterback. Do you have one of those high-level quarterbacks like a Dak, like a Jalen Hurts, like a Patrick Mahomes, a Joe Burrow, that's going to be able to lead your team? That right there showed me that the Detroit Lions have that guy to be able to do that this year. And I know there's a lot of hate, people around the network even who are like, can Jared Goff do this? Can he not? I think it's like, okay, he can do it. We know he can. And it's just about like having that confidence and being able to look yourself in the mirror and being like, you know what? He actually is probably the best quarterback in the NFC right now.
Yeah.
And if you have the best quarterback in the NFC right now, and you have that defense that's been playing a top 5 rush defense, and you have your offense that's a top 5 offense in the NFC, you're going to be in contention at the end of the year. And when you're a GM or a coach or a fan, that's all you're asking for, is to be in that spot come January, the end of January, to have a chance to go to the Super Bowl. I think that's what we have right now in Jared Goff.
100%. And I think he's perfect for this offense and for this team. I don't know if Jared Goff would be the best quarterback on the Chiefs right now with the lack of weapons. And that team relies on, let me find, it was Tyler Chauvet said, relies on Mahomes being a force multiplier, bringing out absurd things out of some of these players. Rasheed Rice, I can't say Kadarius Toney, but these players, they're not Amon-Ra St. Brown, they're not Travis Kelce is Sam Laporta. You know what I'm saying. Jared Goff maybe isn't that quarterback, but for this team, the offense that Ben Johnson wants to run behind the number one offensive line, Jared Goff and what he does, being efficient and being accurate, is perfect.
And before we go to break, I want to look at this comment here in the Woodward Sports chat. Terrell from FL, shout out, has called in a lot, morning show caller.
Shout out.
Terrell's awesome, but he said Goff actually has decent feet. He's just not fast. I think that's kind of true. Goff, if you've noticed, like outside of him having to move, like really run and get out in space away from someone, he's moved in the pocket pretty well. And he's got out of a lot of scenarios in the pocket this year. Now, there has been times, yes, he's gotten caught up in the pocket because it's collapsed and it's out. Only people that in the league probably can get out of it is like a Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, or Lamar Jackson. But for a guy like Jared Goff, he's been good this year in the pocket, getting out, moving up when he needs to, stepping out. He's been decent doing that. So I'm confident. I'm starting to build that confidence in Jared Goff. I'm not going to lie. I said it last week. I think right now you just re-sign him, get that extension over with for the next 2 years, and just move on.